Okay, well first I just want to say there's some pretty graphic images in this, so if anyone needs to leave at any time, it's totally fine. I will not be offended. Alright. First, let me start by asking you a question. Since humans have basically gave every animal on this planet a purpose to them, whether that be entertainment, product, what else we got? Entertainment, product, service, and companionship. Why do we have to treat every category of it differently? Every category of animal differently? There are so many laws in place right now that protect these little guys from cruelty, to make sure that this doesn't happen to them. And there are still protests going on today because it's not enough for the public. Whether you believe it or not, there's actually laws to protect these guys as well, exotic animals, from any kind of cruel behavior that humans may have done to them. But why is that a different case for these guys? The animals that hold maybe one of the highest populations on this planet, which is our farm animals. As many of you guys may know, I am a animal science major here at Cal Poly, and I've actually done a lot of research on the progression of this issue. But today, we are going to learn the ins and outs of animal cruelty and welfare together. Because like described in ASPCA's article, Factory Farms, animals raised for food are among the least protected class animals in our nation. And that's just not okay anymore. There are zero, and I mean zero federal laws that protect farm animals on the farm. And there's a whole abundance of just two that protect them during slaughter and transportation. Yet, household pets have many laws to protect from the cruel behavior, as well as laws that are still in Congress today. For example, we have the 1406, which was presented in 2017 to the 115th Congress, which will ban the slaughter of cats, the intentional slaughter of cats and dogs, to prohibit the sale, trade, and consumption of their meats. There are also other many laws for these animals that prohibit any sexual intercourse with the animal, as well as leaving them in a car unattended. Now, like I stated before, there are also laws for exotic animals as well, like the Traveling Exotic Animal Protection Act. This was also brought up in Congress in the 115th Congress this year, actually. It will prohibit wild and exotic animals in any kind of performances, including carnivals, parades, and circuses, actually. So, why is there a difference in the amount of laws that we have per animal? This allows for farmers and farm animals a very thin guideline for them to follow. This usually leads to farm owners taking advantage of the animals and the mass population they have on their farms, as well as a dangerous environment for the animals themselves. The meat farming industry actually began hundreds of years ago, around the 1400s, where subsistence farming was really popular. And if you guys don't know, subsistence farming is when a family would have a farm and they would only provide for themselves. And that includes crops and meat. But somewhere between now and then, the mass meat producing industry completely took over, producing loads and loads of meat each day. And you know what that means for the animals. Mainly producing products such as chicken, pork, and steak, and also byproducts like dairy and eggs. And this was referenced to from the USDA's webpage on animal production. These animals are raised in a short amount of time, similar to beef cattle who are only raised for 120 days, slaughtered, then drained, then on your plate within a week. And honestly, that's just fine. It's only fine if they're treated properly. Because, as you guys may know, if only having a life of 120 days or less, the quality of their life should matter much more. But other than the obvious dirty and overcrowded stalls that we see in everyday farms, what else do farmers do wrong? Insensitive farmers are known to dehorn cattle and goats, and also trim the beaks of chicks. This is what Rebecca Nordquist explains in her Implication for Welfare research paper in 2017. According to her, this was them preparing for injuries down the line, further down the line. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this doesn't make any sense to me. Preparing for an injury further down the line. That's like saying I'm going to start chemo for cancer that I may have further down the line. They are just making these animals acceptable to injury because they're opening wounds. Animal cruelty is the unjustified, unnecessary pain inflicted on an animal by its caretaker, as defined by Julia Turner in What Makes Cruelty to Animals So Cruel, 2015. These both are forms of cruelty, not efficiency. But what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Well, as you guys may know, or not, half of the work has already been done. This last midterm voting season we just had, California passed Prop 12. And to me, this is just a breath of relief. So, Prop 12 established a minimum space requirement for confined animals to allow full mobility of all their limbs. So as you guys can see, they can't move beyond the constraints that they're in right now. So this prop would allow them to have minimum space requirements so that they could move all their limbs fully. This was brought to us by the Farm Animal Confinement Initiative just 30 days ago, which was November 6th, the voting day. All right. So, I'm not asking you guys to become vegetarian at all. That's not my purpose here. I'm just begging you guys to stop buying from farms that are treating the animals so poorly. Only buy from places that you know treat the animals correctly, and all it takes is a little research. And stop giving your money to the ones that don't. Because although you may want meat in your stomach, you definitely don't want blood on your hands.